Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, and today I wanted to talk about my latest project entitled Easter in the Orphanage, an introspective look at child protection. So I'm from Eastern Europe, I'm from Poland, and when my mother and I lived in Poland, my mother worked in an orphanage for a little bit. So this is kind of a personal photo essay, photo narrative. It touches upon a lot of the things that my memories and my recollections, what I remember, and issues regarding children's rights. So, I don't know if you know the history of children's rights in Canada, but in Canada, the first case of child abuse was trialed because before that we didn't have any laws, was trialed because they were keeping a child in a cage. And so lawyers and the authorities couldn't get that child out, they couldn't help that child. So they likened the child to an animal, a pig that was kept in a cage. And then because the pig had, the animal had more human rights than, or had more rights than the child. So they freed the child once they legally proved that it's the same thing. I'm not making this up, so this is not meant to be offensive. So I kind of likened this to nature also, but also because I lived by the Baltic Sea when I was a child and I remember it. I traveled to Cuba very many times, I traveled to the Caribbean very many times, and I remember that, and I remember the culture and the different experiences I had when I traveled abroad on vacations to resorts. So this is one of the pictures I printed. It's a photograph of shells and turtle bones and some coral. And there's even some pig jaw in there. So these I'm very partial to these, considering what is going on in the world with the war in the Middle East and in Ukraine. I think we are not able to wrap our head around what's important, where we should focus our attention, okay? And that is children's rights and human rights, but children's rights first, right? So these kind of are these poignant little film bits about still lives, about that. So my recollections, or what I imagine the orphanage should look like, or what I remember it as being. So I printed this one by the sea. I printed this clay piece that I made. I made these clay pieces myself in a group a couple years ago, well, a long time ago actually. And I never threw them out. I tried selling them, but nobody bought them. This particular piece is a cross from what I can remember, but it's also a pillar. It's like a candle holder for a pillar candle. And it's also for the wall, but I don't know if it'll stay on the wall because it's quite heavy. But it does have a hole here to put a nail through. So there's another piece, and that too is touching upon just our good faith and again, the elements. This talks about the elements. This talks about shelter. This talks about food. This talks about warmth. This talks about light. So that's why I print these photographs. That's why I've been taking them. I printed a really beautiful coffeeware. It's a prop. I bought it years ago, a long time ago, over a decade ago, in kind of a sketchy lingerie parlor on Lakeshore. But I paid quite a bit for it, but it was worth it. I play around with it in my art. I've done watercolors from this, I've done drawings and stuff, but I think this is the best piece I've come up with so far, a photograph. So that's the other one I did. And as you can see, the frames are they're not the gallery frames because I'm out of the gallery frames. I have pictures in them. But these are Walmart frames. So I printed my photographs for this collection. I'm printing them at Walmart because to print them up elsewhere is going to cost me a fortune. And they're slightly cropped in the printer, but that's okay because it just gets rid of the negative space. I usually leave a little bit of space for cropping anyhow. It's impossible to print without cropping. Even more like different professional printers from Walmart, from Kodak, which is Walmart, will crop your photographs. So unless you pay to take them somewhere very high end. I'm not saying that this isn't high end, but I know that they print on like paper, and they do all kinds of different things. It's a whole different business, and I'm just looking for photography here. I'm just looking for photographs, not making a show out of the aesthetic. So these are just traditional photographs, Kodak prints. They're great. They're glossy. They're 8x10, and they're compatible with the Walmart frames, which are like these ones, which are like these little boxes. You just pop them open, and you put the photograph inside. It comes with a mat, so you can purchase them, and they're not expensive. I think I paid $5 for one. I printed more photographs, so I've been trying to vlog about this, but I've been having a difficult time. So what a difference a gallery frame makes. This was in a gallery frame, and these are the eggs. I used grocery dies for these. I bought them at the grocery store. And my process is I've been using a light box for all my photographs. I've been waking up in the middle of the night to take pictures in the dark. I have a mirrorless camera, and it shows. And I really wanted to print my photographs, getting ahead of myself. I'm not finished the project yet, but I wanted to start printing because I wanted to see what they look like on paper. Because oftentimes when you send something through the printer, it'll look completely different from what on the digital screen. So I wanted to check for a few things, like how the Lightroom edits turned out, because I did a lot of Lightroom editing, and sometimes it looks better on the screen than it does on paper. So I'm very happy with this. This is quite successful. The Lightroom edits are seamless, and they work really well. Another thing was depth of field. I wanted to check if it's in focus, and in areas where there is depth of field, where it is purposely out of focus, where there's a background, a middle ground, and a foreground, we'll get into that later. I wanted to check how blurry it is, how out of focus it is, and luckily I have a good sensor on my camera, and it's quite sharp. So eggs or planets got carried away, and I started thinking about the moons and Mars and Pluto and all these things. And the last one I printed was this one. It's it's the bull tooth. I'm partial to the bull tooth. I remember the dentist coming to the orphanage where my mother worked to do regular checkups, and so I did the bull tooth. And this one is the example of the depth of field one. So when I was taking this picture, I purposely divided it into the rule of thirds. So you can just draw a line, 3 lines across it, and there's on each line there's something. And so there's a background, which is not so sharp, it's out of focus, depth of field. And then there's a middle ground, which has depth of field, which is, so the background is out of focus, this has depth of field, and this is sharp. The foreground is sharp. So it looks really good on paper. It's not ineligible. So the eye of the beholder can recognize it and understand it. It's legible. All of these are metaphorical, poetic, personal, narrative, representational, and they send a powerful message to the world. It says that this is what we should be doing. This is what we should be looking at our child protection services and seeing where we have strengths and where we have weaknesses, and what is going on in child protection services in the United States, in America, in the world, that so many children are dying in the Middle East. So many children are dying in Ukraine. So from my experience, this is kind of a statement. And Did I mention that I never lived in an orphanage. I lived in a community where there was an orphanage. It was a gated community. My mother worked there. So these are my memories. I posted on my YouTube vlog a little synopsis of my art. There's a little metaphorical story, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you buy from me. I'm gonna be selling these for $25 online on my website once it's up and running. And I hope you buy. So if you enjoy my vlogs, if you enjoy my AI videos, if you have been following me online, then please exit through the gift shop. Thank you. Bye-bye.